And we have, did she put the four students on there? Because I didn't, the four students receiving awards. Three of them are from Southern Connecticut State University.
Hmm.
One is my granddaughter.
I
Um, your daughter was scheduled to be in that lineup.
know.
Okay, the students are Cameron Brown, Cameron Elizabeth Brown, Karina. Are you looking?
I see him, but I'm working with Harry. All right.
Okay, can you give me the four students?
We're on the air, you know. All right. Hold on. What I have here is I know. I know, Harry. I know. All right, Carol, we can talk about him because he's recording. I got at least a minute here of dead air. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Harry, for being patient. This is 103.5 FMLP, WNHH, NewHavenIndependent.org. And this is the show. And my name is Michelle Turner. And I have the good fortune of being the show's host. I thank you for joining us on Facebook Live right now. And of course, tomorrow we will be in the audio stream right after my good friend Babs Rawls-Ivy, Love Babs, Love Talk. The show comes on at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, and then it airs again at 6 p.m. So welcome and spread the word. This evening, on Thursday, either or, I have in the studio with me Miss Carol Brown.
Yay.
Or I should say Mrs. Carol Brown. Most know Carol because of her activism throughout Greater New Haven, starting off with the NAACP, the founding of the West Haven Black Coalition. And we are upon the 33rd annual Carol E. Brown Scholarship and Community Awards Dinner. But the theme is always
Pass it on.
pass it on. So welcome to the show, Carol.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you, Michelle.
Now, I want you to pull that mic a little closer to you, just a little bit. You're familiar with microphones.
Never afraid of a mic.
Do people know that you used to sing background?
I didn't do background. I was up front.
Oh, excuse me. I thought
was the artist.
you were the artiste. How long did you sing?
All my life, I started performing when I was probably about 8. But in high school is when it really came forth. No, actually, it was 8th grade when I put together a quartet. And then the quartet became a sextet in church.
Ah.
And they acted silly and would laugh in the middle of some songs. And when we graduated, I decided I'd go on my own. And I sang professionally from California to Canada.
Now, because you're a Seattle, Washington native.
Yes, I am.
So you are not of the Connecticut ilk. You are of the Pacific Coast.
Right. But, you really can't tell that because everybody thinks I was born and raised here. I try to act like I've been born and raised in New Haven. I love New Haven.
Yeah, you've been here quite some time.
And my friends.
Raised your children here,
right.
Married here.
Right. And so we've lived in West Haven for 56 years.
Really? Has it been that long?
It's been that long. But
wow.
Teddy and Eric both live in New Haven. They love it. They love New Haven. But I do too. I really do. My friends are here.
Yeah.
And it's because of me being involved in Dixwell Church that I met a lot of folks. I joined several choirs that were all from New Haven. And that's why I know so many people.
Yeah.
You talk about the Q House, I'm involved in with the concerned citizens. And I act like this was home. And people think, this was home. But
this is where you're from.
I'm a transplant.
But now, you Oh, goodness. I lost my train of thought when you said transplant. You also have a television show.
I do. We are.
You're part of.
Yeah. The Concerned Citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Bracey, Jacqueline Bracey.
Yes, Mrs. Bracey to me.
Carlina McDonald. The late Frances Russell. And Carol Brown. Now, both Tony Harp and Jan Parker were a part of that group at one time. And all 5 of us sat on that show at one time. And Tony would leave those senatorial meetings in Hartford and get back to New Haven to be a part of whatever we were doing. And so it's a group of powerful Black women that have been active in the community for some 50 years. And I'm happy to be a part of it because like I said, I'm a transplant. But through the New Haven NAACP, they all became my friends. And so I just love working in New Haven. I've had jobs in New Haven. All my jobs are in New Haven. I can't very well work in West Haven. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. So there was no way I was going to be working in West Haven. I did for a short while. Well, that was when I was a newcomer. But
and you weren't as known.
Right. I was just a nice little Black girl working in West Haven with little kids 3 to 5 years of age.
Wow.
So I love what I do. I will always be an activist, and I have that wonderful, wonderful husband that allows me to do all this activity on the outside of home. But I take care of home too.
Yes. Hello to Teddy Brown.
That's right.
Senior.
That is the man.
Yes.
50, I guess, I'm losing track. 58 years.
Wow. It's a long time.
It's a long time.
To look at the same person.
It's been 58 good years.
He's a good guy. Mr. Teddy. Hello, Mr. Teddy.
So we're up to the Dr. King tribute is all over, and we're getting ready for this big dinner.
Now, why'd you have the tribute in New Haven this year? In case folks didn't know.
The church in West Haven is under construction.
Okay.
They're doing some, I think the ceiling in the sanctuary kind of cracked, and so they're doing a whole lot of major work. And we're hoping that by September 2019, it'll be all done and we'll be back there. But the good part is if they're not done, the Center Church said, come on back. And so we'll come back. We enjoyed being in New Haven this year. Really did.
Yeah, you got a good turnout also.
Yes, we did.
So how did the West Haven Black Coalition come to be? Before we get into the dinner itself, let's talk a little bit about the organization. How did it come to be?
I was doing Black history programs at West Haven High by myself. And I was running for the Board of Ed in 1985. I lost that election by about 39 votes in 1985. And that was a year that we had 3 African Americans on all 3 tickets, major tickets, and 1 Democrat.
You're talking about politically?
Politically. 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, and 1 independent. And had the folks known how to vote, we would have been able to get all 3 in. And so I decided that I lost. As far as I'm concerned, I'm never a loser because you learn.
Right.
Knowledge is power, and you learn from a loss. Whatever you didn't do, you will make up for that doing something more positive and keep moving forward. So I decided that I had been doing programs at the high school during Black History Month, that I would organize the community to come together and let's talk about having some faces of color in West Haven politics. I knew that there was a fire commissioner's election coming up, and so I just put an article in the paper and said that I wanted people to come together. This is just me talking now. Come together, call Reverend Goldson, the House of Jacob pastor, and he's now Bishop Goldson, and said, may I hold a meeting in your church to get the Black community to come together so we can talk about why there are no Black elected officials in this town and why they act like we don't even exist. He said, why, of course. So I put that in the paper, and much to my surprise, the first meeting, 250 people showed.
Wow.
We weren't organized because of a rally. We weren't organized because we were mad at anybody. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to get them riled up to be concerned that they're taxpayers and they have no voice in West Haven. Let's come together and have a voice. And so I did that. We had 3 such meetings, and it was all about getting somebody that was willing to run for fire commissioner. That was the first election coming up. Mm-hmm. And the person sitting on the front row that night that I said, that guy looks like he would be a candidate. I said, sir, what is your name? And he said, Calvin DeLoach. Mm-hmm. I said, well, Calvin DeLoach, would you like to run for fire commissioner? Because we can really put something together with all these people in this room. We all look alike. We all get behind you. He was ready. He was ready. And he was willing. Well, we ran him. He lost. We knew he was going to run or lose, but we wanted him to run anyway because it's the beginning of something.
Yeah, you wanted to show a presence.
Yeah, that we are registered voters and we are taxpayers too. Well, we had another election coming up, and it's called City Council. Mm. And we didn't have any African Americans sitting on City Council. And so we had another big meeting, and nobody in that room wanted to run. But I remembered the woman that I had met named Millicent Huff. Maybe she'd like to run. First she said, no, I don't like politics. I'm not doing politics. I don't want to do all that. So we thought we'd let her sit back a while. And we finally talked her into it. Millicent ran for city council, and the man she ran against had been the city council representative in the 5th district for 14 years. And they referred to him as Uncle Joe. He was an Italian, and they referred to him as Uncle Joe. And I said, well, it's time the community stop calling him Uncle Joe, and we need to get the vote out for Millicent Huff. That campaign was big. She beat him by 200 votes. Wow. But Calvin DeLoach and I were the ones that walked the community all the time. You know, you always have to have a couple that do that. But the people were really coming out for Millicent Huff. So she won, and she was our first elected Black official in West Haven back then. And we went on and ran a fire commissioner again. But the story that I really want to share is that when Calvin DeLoach ran again for fire commissioner, and he ran in May, in September of that same year, I went to him and I said, and he and my husband are best friends. And so when I would ask him to do something, my husband would just rub it in. Calvin, she's going to ask you to run for city council. And Calvin says, I'm not running for city council as a Republican. So he was going to have to change parties. Now, he wasn't ready to do that. But when we sat down and talked to him and showed him how it could work, if he really wanted to be a city councilman and run with the Republicans that year, it could work if everybody got out and voted for him. But I want you to know, to make a long story short, that man ran for a Democratic fire commissioner in May and came back and was the only Republican to win that year on that whole ticket. They were mad at us. They, meaning city fathers, were mad at us. We began to see that we were gaining some power because people understand you have to vote. You may not like everybody you have to vote for, but when there's an African American, we need to do like other races of people do. If Hispanics see Hispanics on the ticket, they all go out and vote for the Hispanics. Mm-hmm. We're the gentle race. We vote for whomever. You said vote for you, and you may be a Miss Bellacucci. Yeah. It doesn't matter because she probably did something nice for you one day. We need to start looking at who is going to make it right for us. When I said, now we need to get a Black fire chief, we meet, coalition meeting. Ladies, we've got to do more than just vote. We've got to talk up getting a Black fire chief. We've got to do this. What's his name? Lionel Dunlap, 40 years in that fire department as a Black man. Still haven't hired another Black man. Elmer Henderson's fight was the hardest fight we've ever had to fight in West Haven. They did not want Elmer Henderson. He came on, he did a great job, and when he left, they were ready to cry because he had done
such a great job.
Great job.
So it seems that you all have made a difference.
We have, but we've had a setback with the last 3 administrations. A serious setback. This administration is probably the worst we've ever seen. She doesn't even talk to us at all. We have some space that the last administration gave us, and we're located at the Allentown Library. That building is really West Haven. It's called Allentown Community Center.
Right.
And we are on the lower level of that building. And when we went into that building just to look at it, it was in deplorable condition. It looked like the city dump. There was nothing but junk down there. It was really, really bad. But I had resources, and we got it
I'm sure
fixed up.
You did.
Oh, yes. And the building is beautiful now, and they're trying to run us out of there now because the developer is getting ready to put a building on top of the parking lot.
Okay.
And then they don't necessarily want us to leave right now, but they're going to put a building on top of this parking lot. Any way to harass us so we will move. They'll never go on record as saying we put them out, but they're going to try to force us out. And, trying to move Carol E. Brown.
Yeah, that's a tough road to hoe.
Because we've spent too many years trying to get some space. So we thanked the Mayor O'Brien for the space, but the space was a dump. And we have made it look like a professional business. There's not another office in West Haven that looks as good as the West Haven Black Coalition's headquarters. So you need to come and visit us.
I will.
I will come and
visit.
It has not been easy.
How long have you been there now? Because I remember when you went and looked at it.
This is the 3rd year.
3rd year? I knew it was recent.
Yes.
I knew it was recent. So how did the dinner come about?
The dinner, actually, I was talking about the dinner the first time we came together as a group. And Bernice Bowman, who was my vice president, said, "Girl, how are you going to be talking about a dinner and scholarships? We don't have 25 cents to mail a letter." I said, "But we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to have a dinner." And we had a dinner, our first dinner at the Knights of Columbus in West Haven. We had our first 250 people, and Dave Winters was our MC. For 2 years, he was our MC, and then he left WNHC. And then we got Keith Coons, who is still with us.
Yeah,
He's still with us. We went from the Knights of Columbus to Grassy Hill Country Club. We stayed there about 17 years, and now we're at Fantasia. And we're loving it because our food is so good, and it's big. But selling tickets, promoting the dinner as we have a following. And I can't thank you enough, New Haven, because you're always in the house. I love New Haven folks because they get behind the West Haven Black Coalition big time. So I love this city.
So you've got several categories. The Humanitarian Award.
Oh, that's
named after the late Reverend Doc Edmonds.
Yes.
You've got Eric Clemens, who's being honored for community service, correct?
No,
he's one of them.
Eric Clemens is getting the #1 award. The Humanitarian Award.
The Humanitarian Award itself.
Yes.
Okay. And then you've got, let me just go down the categories. Community service, President's Appreciation, Distinguished Citizen.
President's Appreciation Award is Jack Keys.
Yes, I'm going to say who everybody is. Just let me get through the categories first, because I want to talk about the individuals briefly. Distinguished Military Service, West Haven Black Coalition Athletic Hall of Fame, Special Award, and a Woman of Distinction. So, back to the top, Eric Clemens. Why Eric?
He's done a phenomenal job with CONCAT, and he came recommended by 2 outstanding men in the community, and I began to look him up and found out that he's good, and this is the award that he should get.
Now, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people for community service.
Yes, they've been Naomi Campbell, Varick, AME Zion. She works like a crazy person. She's always there. She's always working in the community. She works in all the political campaigns. Robert Gibson was the librarian at Hill House High School. And Mr. Gibson is a no-nonsense person, but he is so dedicated. He was dedicated. I watched him in action. And when Hill House had their 100th anniversary, I watched him put that event together. He's good. He's good.
Phyllis Silver?
Phyllis Silver is the young woman that participates in our Martin Luther King service every year. She trains and prepares her choir for that event all year long. And we thank her for her time, her service, and her talent.
Verna Norman.
Verna Norman is a woman that worked at Hill House, started as a volunteer. They finally decided to start paying
to hire her. Huh?
Oh, she is unreal. She made sure that when those kids needed community service, she would go around the community and make sure they were all placed in somebody's agency.
Okay.
And Vernon Simpson is one who does everybody's books. Any nonprofit organization that's looking for someone to do their books, Vernon Simpson does it. He's been doing it for years.
Now you've got Jack Keys for the President's Appreciation Award.
Yeah, he's done a whole lot of little back stuff for me, little things that I need to have done that, and I run things by him, make sure that I'm always right. I don't want to be caught up in things that make me look bad or make the agency look bad.
Yeah.
So this is my way. Those who help me without any confrontation are the people that I give the President's Appreciation Award to.
Okay. All right. We got to get through these quickly because you got another set of folks that I want to talk about. So I want to get to those.
Legends.
Distinguished Citizen Award. You got 3 people: Barbara Tenney, Alexis Smith, and Charles Grady Jr.
Oh, they're all good. Charles Grady Jr. is with the FBI, and he's doing a phenomenal job. I know he has a program going right now at Southern. They're always looking for young people. Alexis Highsmith-Smith is, and people don't even know it, she's the CEO at Legal Aid.
Okay.
She runs that office, and she's good. She's quiet, unassuming kind of person, but smart, real smart, and never seen, never heard, but she's there working. And Barbara Tenney, we know, just retired from New Haven Family Alliance. What a job she's done. She says she's retired, but if you go over there tomorrow, she's there. Don't let her fool you. She's not retired.
Sounds like her. Frank Dixon. My father's fraternity brother.
Yes, Military Service Award to Frank Dixon. And he's a good man. He's a good, smart, young businessman.
Yeah. Rufus Cooper. Now, did he play for West Haven High?
He did. Yes, he did.
Basketball?
Yes, he did. And they tell me he's outstanding.
Okay.
I don't remember Rufus, but he goes to the barbershop at Willie C's. And they talk about him so badly. He almost didn't get this because the stuff that they told me wasn't true. Willie C and his son are crazy. But yes, he's getting it. And he is good. They told me how good he really is.
Pat Brett.
Pat Brett is getting...
Hey, Pat
She
Brett.
was doing some stuff for STEM. And Eric Brown saw her picture in the paper. She's getting the Champion for Children Award. That's a made-up title, but that's what she does. She has spent 40 years working with kids, doing things with kids. And we thought it was time for Pat to get some recognition. For her hard work with kids.
And speaking of hardworking people in the realm of education and children, Lola Nathan.
Lola Nathan. Now,
I want to call her Dr. Lola Nathan.
I'm probably going to have to roll out a red carpet that night. And we don't do this. But you know how Lola is?
Yeah.
We'll have to roll out the red carpet. Well deserved. She
Principal at Davis Street School in New Haven for years.
Absolutely.
For years.
And she was at Wexler.
Yes. And she was at Wexler Grant.
But she is unbelievable. She's a wonderful woman.
She is.
And we have legends. Those guys, Charles Grady Sr. and Gerald Clark, they are legends in the community. They've done a lot of work, and I just don't want people to forget them. So we're going to talk about the work that they've done. You know the work that they've done. And when you see them on the street, just like we do with military people, whether we know them or not, just thank them for all the work that they've done.
Educator of the Year, D. Marshall.
D. Marshall. If you want to talk about a teacher that really knows how to teach, you come out of D. Marshall's class, your brain is filled. D. Marshall is also a historian. You can sit down and talk to her about any topic. She knows it. She knows any and everything about education. And she wants to make sure the kids that sit in her class are going to leave her class knowing that she made a difference in their lives. Good lady.
All right. And then you have your student scholars. Essence Riley. Now, is she at Morgan State or is she going to Morgan State?
She is at Morgan State now.
Okay. And grade point average, what's the grade point average? Or is this where you just feel like these are children who deserve
at least 2.5?
Okay.
You know, it should anything any lower than that is hard. But we know that they're struggling.
Yeah.
Holding part-time jobs. So 2.5 or better, we definitely accept them. She's the only one from Morgan State. You can read the other three names, Michelle, because those students are at Southern Connecticut State University.
Well, you got somebody from UNH, Karina Corbello.
Correct.
And she's receiving the Chief Donald R. Scott Scholarship.
Yes, she is.
And then you have Cameron Brown. Sounds familiar.
Elizabeth Brown is my granddaughter.
And then Latrice Alston and Kayla Nicole Daniels.
Those three are from
Southern.
They're all really, really bright young women. And I'm so proud. They are going to make education a priority. And they're all talking about furthering their education. So they're not stopping here. Yeah. They're going to further their education.
That's great. Carol, so you've been doing this 33
years.
33 years now.
Actually, it's more than that. Long before we had an organization.
I thought it was a little bit longer than 33.
I've taken an interest in the community. All my life I've worked in the community. I'm just an organizer. I like to organize things and everything is big. Everything is big. I used to organize talent shows because I could sing. Everybody needed to sing. I just want to make school happy. So I would ask, well, could I do a fashion show? Could I do a talent show?
Mm-hmm.
Could we do a girl versus boys basketball match? I'm just always organizing, pulling people together.
So why is this so important? Why is it that you do this annually? Besides scholarship?
Well, number one, to recognize people in the community that never get recognized. Then we have a lot of people here that never, ever, they're not in the loop of society. And they are often forgotten. And many of the people that we recognize tell me that they've never gotten awards before. And so even if they have, and I know you're still out there working, I'm going to, if I know about you, I'm going to make sure you continue to get recognition. I enjoy it because it makes people happy.
Now, and you should also let people know, and I know this because of my participation with the dinner, that not everybody that gets an award is Black. That there are people of different backgrounds who receive some either scholarship or award from you because you feel that they've done work that not only benefits the African American community, but West Haven and Greater New Haven as a whole.
Absolutely. And, it's really funny because living in West Haven, it's really rare that you'll find a white organization recognizing anybody African American for any reason. They don't care how much we do. We don't exist. And if we don't keep saying to ourselves, it takes two. You've got to break that cycle somehow.
Right.
I live in an integrated neighborhood. I came from I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, where everything was segregated.
Well, I was going to tease you, and I was going to say, well, that's why everything is big.
Yeah,
because I knew you.
That is. Everything is big. I can't do. When we had that 250 people at this dinner, I said this was really nice. The meal was nice, but we got to go bigger. So we go from the Knights of Columbus to Grassy Hill Country Club. From Grassy Hill Country Club to Fantasia. Yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. The King Tribute started out with a couple of hundred people, but everything is big. Regina Warner was another one, and we were both from Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah. Everything she did was big. Was big.
Yeah, she's sorely missed. I miss Dr. Warner. She was somebody who was always in my corner.
All the time.
And as a matter of fact, when I first came home from college, when I first was newly scrubbed college degree, she had me come over to Cross and speak to a class and help present some awards. And I was like, how did you know that this is what I do? And she said, because I'm observant.
Yes.
And I watch everything. Yes. And I know who can and who has challenges.
That's right. That's right. And that's what we do in our church. We've kind of targeted some of the kids that we have who read well, look well, speak well, and I bring them to the King Tribute because I know what they can do. They have talent that needs to be used. If I hadn't had people like me in my church, I couldn't do the things that I do. I wouldn't be able to speak. I wouldn't be able to read. And I certainly wouldn't be in front of a camera. If it hadn't been for my church. Blame them.
So who are your busy bees? Who are on the committee that help you put this thing together?
Well, Rashita is my right hand. Rashita has been with me she's the secretary. And she's been with the organization, I believe, 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
I'm losing count. Her mother stepped in when my treasurer moved to Cheshire. And Cheshire? She left town. And she actually left town. Her mother stepped in, and I told her just for a couple of weeks. 3 years later, she was still the treasurer.
I dare say, people not know how you operate?
No, they don't. They don't know. they don't know. They're learning, though. And Nakia Dawson is my vice president. And she just came on board about a year and a half ago. And the treasurer is Patty Newton Foster, another live wire.
Yeah, Patty. Well, Patty's my homie. She's Bridgeport. Yeah. And folks from Bridgeport are very
She is a lively one.
Yeah.
If I say I need Win, she's like that. She moves on everything. Hazel Johnson is still with us. She was there at the very first meeting. And Hazel Johnson and her husband have had to pull back because they're getting up there in age, but she comes to all the meetings. We have Talisha Jackson, who came when Nakia came about a year and a half ago. And her daughter is the one from Morgan State.
Okay.
And she's doing well there. Let's see. Who else? We've got a board of 13, Jan Simmons, Cheryl Riley, Alita Staten. These are hardworking women.
Yeah.
And it is wonderful to work with them. I guess they consider me, they don't call me a control freak, but that's what people that don't know me don't understand. That's probably what I am. But I just...
At least you know that that's what's being said.
Things have to be done right. And if it's not done right, I get really, really angry if it's not done right. I know I'm not paying these people. My husband reminds me, you're not paying these people. And so when it needs to be done, so that I don't have to have any backlash, I do it myself. Well, now that's how I get the reputation. You do everything yourself. If I tell you more than once to do something or ask you more than once, that means I need to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything, whether it's good or bad, is going to come right back to me.
Yeah, because your name's on it.
Right. And everything that we do in the coalition, it's a reflection of the kind of people. You know who is part of this board now? Is Daryl, the funeral director. McClam.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he did join the board
a
year and a half ago. But every time we have a meeting, he has a funeral. So, we'll see Daryl when he comes. We can't put stipulations on that.
No, you can't put stipulations on that.
He wants to be a part of the organization, and we are happy to have him. But it's been 33 long years, and we are now over with the King Tribute, but I'm in the midst of planning things for the tribute for 2020 already. Mm-hmm. And it will be an evening of music. We had 2 mini speakers, and so it was recommended. We didn't have but 3, but our main speakers spoke a little long. So it was recommended that we
do a musical tribute,
right,
as opposed to having
right
speakers. Keynote this year for the dinner? Anybody?
No.
Okay.
No. You know, I had called John Lewis's office at the time, and I wrote a letter. And he was sick at the time I called, and they never got back to us. We had contacted Johanna Hayes and for the tribute, and she didn't respond. And so we're going to leave that one alone. So we decided for the dinner, we will just let the honorees have a couple of minutes to say thank you. And I'm sitting behind them, pulling their
I was going to
coats.
say, who's kind of like got the Apollo hook?
I have it.
You?
And then the band, we're doing Phil Brown and Top Notch are coming this year. And their female singer, Yvonne, can't wait to hear her. They play
they do. They do very
music.
well.
They really
enjoy
do.
them very much at Amoy's while I'm having dinner, usually on a Saturday night.
They're
they
really
do
good.
very well. I think your audience or your constituents will be pleased.
We have a very mixed audience these years. We start, so folks that stopped coming because it used to be a marathon dinner, we go in at 4:00 with a meet to greet, and we're out of there last year at 8:00.
Great.
That's with covering everything.
Yeah.
So we tell you we'll try to get everything going at 5:15 is the dinner, but we want you out of there by 8:30. Keith and Gil Simmons.
Are they the MCs this year?
They have been for the last 10 years.
Only because I know that it's been Keith and sometimes Jocelyn Memento from Channel 8.
Yes, but Jocelyn doesn't like to give up her Saturdays.
Yeah.
Because it's her time with her kids and her family.
And,
so
we all understand that.
We understand that. But Gil loves it. Gil loves it. We miss Mrs. Perkins, by the way. She was not a part, she and her boys were not a part of the tribute this year. And our condolences, all of us send our condolences to Mrs. Perkins for the loss of her husband. And
indeed.
And we miss her little boys. So I hope she's going to have it together next year where they can come back.
Or maybe they can do the King celebration next year. They can be a part of that.
They have been for the last 32 years. This is the first year they've missed.
Yeah.
So we really do miss them. So everybody needs to get their sons in that choir because she teaches them more than just singing. They need to be a part of that choir. That's a wonderful woman.
So the dinner is on
Saturday, February 23rd.
Okay.
4:00 p.m. The meet and greet.
Okay. Dinner is at 5:15. Tickets are
$65 per person.
Okay. And you can make your check out to the West Haven Black Coalition. But here's the thing. You do not sell tickets at the door, and people must purchase tickets by the 16th of February.
Have you ever known Black folks to do that?
What?
We try.
Do what? Try to buy tickets at the door?
They do. They do buy tickets at the door. They don't pay any attention to that notice. I'm just being honest because we're not going to turn anybody away. But we would really like you to be thoughtful enough to understand we have to order meals. So
I was going to say it's about a head count.
It's a head count. So please purchase your tickets in advance and call 314-1695 with your reservation.
Okay. And you're having chicken fricassee, family style roast beef with gravy, and a vegetarian choice. And
nice.
Again, it says on the ticket, no tickets sold at the door. It says that twice.
So we want you to follow what the ticket says, folks. We want you to come, but do it early. Make your reservation.
Mm-hmm.
We want to pack the place. And look at the billboard on the Post Road, January 31st.
Now, it's not semi-formal.
It is not semi-formal, but
it's after 5.
After 5.
Okay. And that means what for the gentlemen? Because the gentlemen never really know what that means.
A sports jacket is fine and a tie. No T-shirt. No boots. You know what I mean. Work boots.
Right.
Dress like you go to church. And I'm afraid to say that because people go to church dressed as raggedy and as tacky as they do when they're just walking down the street going to Stop and Shop. So we'd like you to put on after 5 wear. Please. Yes. We know the ladies will.
Yes, the ladies always do.
And guys, you don't have to wear a tie, but you know you want to put on a tie that night.
Mm-hmm.
As I greet you at the door in a gown.
As she always does.
Please come out. We'd love to see you. We love having you. You're all my friends, and I love you all. And thank you for your 33 years of support.
Now, with these years of support, are you seeing consistent support from the community? Are people still coming out in the larger numbers?
Yes, we still get the big numbers. The year that we moved from Grassy Hill to Fantasia, I don't know what hit them, but I tell you, we had over 500 people that Sunday. Mm. The key to the success of a West Haven Black Coalition dinner, I believe, is to have it on a Sunday, because we've had it on a Sunday twice, and they've packed the place. And so it's worth talking about, and I intend to bring it up to my group, the organization, to see whether or not we should. But we have a good turnout on Sundays for the King Tribute, and that says a lot also.
Yeah.
So we're seeing an increase in numbers with both the dinner and the King Tribute, but I'm going to talk to my board and see what we can do about having it on a Sunday afternoon. And the rain date is always the next day.
Which is a Sunday.
Which is a Sunday.
If there's anything you want the public to know about this dinner, what is it?
That it's people coming together from all walks of life, all skin colors, from across the state to this dinner. We're there to talk about, when you read my message, I tell the truth in my message. West Haven has not been too friendly to Black folks. Still, it is no different today than it was in 1965. We still have small numbers of administrators or teachers. When they come, they don't stay. We'd like you in your communities to get involved, come to our dinner and see that we have a mixture of people. It took a long time. Michelle, it took almost 20 years before white people started coming to our dinner.
Wow.
And I don't know and even though we were having it in white establishments, it still took them a long time to decide to come. I do a lot of recruiting. I encourage white people to come now, because that's the way Dr. King would have wanted it. He always talked about the races of people coming together. He always talked about not being violent. We have the guy in the White House now that has set this country back. Together, we need to make him vanish. We need to see that he gets impeached. We need to do whatever it takes to bring our community together. We need to strengthen the Black community. And at our dinner, we think that when we're there and we're all eating and drinking and partying together at the dinner, that you read my message. My message says, we're having a good time here tonight, but things ain't no different today than they were in 1985 when we started. Things are no different than they were in 1965 when I came here. I came here in 62, and I never saw Black folks in leadership in West Haven. West Haven is a seriously racist town, and I have filed a claim with CHRO. West Haven Black Coalition is the only African-American group that applied for CDBG money, and we got nothing. Absolutely nothing. They lied to the people in the CDBG office in Hartford, and we are definitely going to file a suit. So you'll be reading about it because we're not going to sit back and let it keep on happening. We've got to be active and we've got to be vocal. We can't be afraid. We've got to speak up and speak out. Don't be afraid. If Teddy Brown Sr., being a cop on that force, had said, Carol, you need to sit down because you're hurting my job. He never said that. He said, you go forward because you're going to help bring on more African-American policemen. And the only black ones that they hired were married to white women.
Well, Carol, you can't help who you love.
Well, okay. But, that is a disservice to us. It is a disservice to us because they would treat those guys better than those who married women that look like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
But West Haven doesn't even have people applying for jobs out there because of the reputation that it has always had. We have maybe 1, 2 black administrators out there, and the teachers don't like them. So it's hard. They don't eat with them. They segregate them. They treat them badly. So I'm not going to sit here and paint a pretty picture because it's not that way at all.
Yeah.
I live there. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to continue to be the voice and the conscience of the people. They need to know that we're not happy. We're just not saying anything right now. We've waited long enough for things to turn around. Curtis Jordan, we miss you. He was a man that used to fight all the time about the fire department. They didn't like Curtis, but he always told the truth.
And he always got through.
And he did. He'd go to every meeting. Through. So my message to the public is, you live in New Haven. You need to stand with our sister. Stand with her. Give her strength to go on. Give her strength to go on. When there are black organizations out there calling for your help, don't sit back and complain. Get involved.
The 33rd Annual Carol E. Brown Scholarship and Community Awards Dinner. Fantasia Banquet Facility, 400 Washington Avenue, North Haven, Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. Rain snow date, Sunday, February 24th. The meet and greet is from 4 to 5 p.m. Dinner is served at 5:15, and the music is provided by the Top Notch Band. There's a donation of $65 per person. Make your check payable to the West Haven Black Coalition. RSVP by Friday, February 16th, 2019. By phone, call Miss Rashida Davis, 203-314-1695, or go to WHBC86@yahoo.com. Okay? So get out there, support these young people, support those in our community, support Mr. Clemens, support Lola Nathan, support Jack Keys, all the folks who we know and have had interaction with over these past 30 to 40, and dare I say even 50 years. Carol E. Brown, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Michelle.
And your energy as always.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay. And again, hello to Mr. Teddy Brown.
Hello to your mom.
Yes, I hope to get her on very soon because she really does have a story to tell. I always say to people, it's not so much that she's my mom that I want her on, but she's really got a story to tell. It's pretty special, especially for young women.
She's a special lady.
Yeah, she is. You're listening to the show on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and newhavenindependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook right now. Just go to facebook.com/New Haven Independent, or just go to your own Facebook page and look us up. Hello to all my Aggies and to all my family listening across the globe. You never know who's going to be on the show. Tune in next Wednesday. Okay, I promise you it won't be me talking to myself. This has been the show on 103.5 FM, WNHH. Yay. I can see you breaking into the candy. Tell Mr. Brown. Well, actually, you could watch the show on Facebook in probably another 2 hours.